Hi guys, welcome back. So following that utter humiliation by France of the England team, I'm going to rate the players like I do after every game, but I'm going to do it slightly differently. I'm going to say, who do I think has world-class potential going forward from the games we've seen so far? Who do I think can mix it with the best? Because that was the test against France, one of the best in the world. Who can mix it? It definitely showed a few players up, that is for sure. This is just my feelings at the moment. It could definitely change, and I do read all your comments, so I'd love to know your thoughts on it. But everyone's opinions is welcome. Do not get upset with other people with different opinions to yourself, because that is the fun of sport. So let's get into it. I've sorted them into, yes, I think they've showed world-class potential. No, I don't think I've seen it. And maybes. The first time I did it, I put too many in the maybes, so I've tried to be quite cutthroat with this, but maybe not enough. I don't know. But here we go. Who do I think can mix it at the top level at the moment? These are the players. Quite a small list at the moment. I think Ellis Genge has shown that he can mix it with the best. We've seen some really good stuff from him within these championships. Sure, it was a tougher test against France, but I still saw some good stuff. So I think he is good enough, definitely, at that top level. Can he get enough players around him? I guess that is the question. Second on the list, you can see Maro Itoje. He had a bit of a poor game versus Scotland. He was gassed, basically, but he's come back super strong from that. And against France, he was one of those players that really showed up, really showed he was, at that level, if you like, stole a lot of ball, was all over the place, all action. Impressed with him. Ollie Chesnam, I thought, looked good as well. He's looked good the whole championship, very consistent. And he's going to get better because he's very young. Next on the list, I'm going to put Ollie Lawrence. I think his power play, some of the lines he hit, some of the breaks he's made have been impressive. So I think I've seen enough to say, yes, he is good enough. Although I think England need more players like him, more backup. Is he the finished article? No, but I think I'm happy with what I've seen. Freddie Stewart, one of those guys who I thought actually looked pretty good against the French. In that sort of wet weather game, a kicking game, he can look fantastic, and he hit some good lines, scored a great try. So I think he's been very consistent. Get the speed around him on the wings. I think I'm pretty happy. And sure, we haven't seen much of Henry Arundel. He didn't get his hands on the ball much in the 20 minutes he got in this game. But I've seen plenty, to be honest. I think he is world-class potential for sure. Get him starting, get the ball in his hands, and let's see him score some tries. And of course, we've hardly seen anything of Courtney Lawes, but this is a personal list, and I think he is a world-class performer at his best, and I think he will get back there in time for the World Cup. So that's a pure speculation, if you like, but I'm happy to have him on that list. In the maybes, Lewis Ludlam has worked his socks off, and he did again against France, although he didn't show up that well against the French back row. Although I still think he's shown that he can really go for a full 80, put in the tackles, put in the hard yards. So I put him as a maybe. Maybe he should have been in the yeses, actually. Jack Willis. I was disappointed in him in this game against France. I know it's hard when the whole team isn't doing well, but he didn't stand up that well against Olivon, who really outshone him. Got taken off early, so that puts him back on the maybe after looking so good, I thought, in the last couple of games. Anthony Watson, I think we've seen flashes of him at his best, but maybe not consistently. I don't think any wingers have had much chance to look great under this English team. They haven't been getting the ball into space out wide that great, but yeah, at his best, he is world class, but I think he's at the maybes at the moment, so fingers crossed for him. Ben Curry's interesting. His first game against Scotland, he looked really overpowered, but every time he's come off the bench from now on, especially in that French game as well, he's looked really good. He's got turnovers, he's got stuck in. When his brother comes back, that's going to be interesting as well, but I'll put him in the maybes. For Ben Earl, we just haven't seen enough of him. He hasn't really been given that chance. Will he be good enough? I don't know. I think with a lot of these players, you don't really know until you tried them. I think, especially in the players that I've put in the no category, you'll see in a minute, I think a lot of people will say they were never going to be good enough, but I just don't think you know until you've tried. And I think Ben Earl hasn't really been given a crack at the whip. We've seen plenty of good stuff from Alex Mitchell, but we haven't seen him start, so I think he's still in the maybes. Owen Farrell, I think he's tackled hard at times, he's a good leader, but then when his kicking goes off at goal, that's half the reason he's there, and it's very hard to know, is he world class at the moment, is he a little bit limited? I don't know, to be honest, so he's in the maybes. And Max Malins is there, is he a starting world class winger? I'm not sure. I think he's a high quality player. Is he that super sub, the guy that can cover everything? So he's still in the maybes for me. Okay, into the last category of the ones I haven't seen world-class potential from. Jamie George, still like his skills, really good line-out thrower, but he is not moving around the pitch like he used to for sure. Was really struggling today to make an impact. He's there kind of just making tackles and doing some skills, but not really having those big impacts that the Sheehan's have, etc. The really good hookers, Malcolm Marks, those sorts of players. So he's doing a job, but a job isn't world class. Carl Sinclair, well, I thought he was getting back to his best, but in this game, I was really, really disappointed at times. He just looks like he's struggling to move athletically. I don't know if it's his back. He looks very stiff at times, looks like he's struggling, to get a sprinting position, to bend over, to make tackles. That one break at the end when I think Ramos made the break, he literally barely moved, and that is worrying signs. Alex Dombrandt, I know lots of you will say, I told you, but you don't know. He looks great in the Premiership. Does that translate into international? You don't know till you've tried him, and you've tried him a lot. And he really came up wanting in this game. Just physically, that edge, that nastiness, I'm not quite seeing it. If it's not a dry day when he can use his skills, he doesn't quite look good enough. Will he get there? I'm not so sure. At the moment, he's in the nose. Who else do you play at number 8? That is the problem, but that's a question for another video. Do you go back to Billy? I don't think so, but who else is there? Are you waiting for Zach Mercer? Anyway, Jack Van Poortvliet had loads and loads of starts, had loads and loads of chances, and I still haven't seen that super confident, calm, decisive scrum half I want to see. Is it in him? Well, I think he's got the physical ability, the skills. I think it's there, but I don't know. It's hard. Maybe his confidence has been dented. I mean, we saw Rhys Webb for Wales come back, and he's not the athlete he was, but he was just making good decisions. And that's what we want to see from Van Poortvliet. I'm not sure we've seen it yet, so he's in the nose. And Marcus Smith, it does pain for me to say it because I am a bit of a fan of his, and you can make excuses for Marcus Smith, and I certainly have. If you built the whole team around him and it was a dry day, blah, 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 but we haven't seen the evidence so far for England under Borthwick or under Eddie Jones, so he has to be in the nose for now. Henry Slade. He's a classy player, he's got good skills, he's got a good kick, but when you compare him against the best 13s in the world, like Gael Fiku, like Gary Ringrose, just not close, attacking-wise, defensive-wise, a little bit powder puff at times, so he has to go in the nose for now. Ollie Hassel-Collins could be great, but the times he played for England in this Six Nations, he just didn't get the ball, then he got injured, so you can't really put him in anything apart from the nose unless he gets another chance. Has that chance passed him? 50-50, I'd say. Mako, yeah, he's in there with Dan Cole, and they're just not quick enough. They're not athletic enough compared to the sort of players that the likes of Ireland are bringing off the bench, New Zealand, France, South Africa. It's not even close, so they have to be nose. Jack Walker hasn't been given the time. He needs a start for us to know if he's good enough. The fact that he hasn't been given a start and Jamie George has been getting the bulk of minutes, even though he's not, the world's greatest at the moment, kind of says a lot. So he has to be no. Mentioned Dan Cole and Nick Ezekwe. He works hard, but I just think as a second row, I'm not sure he's quite got it physically. Not quite sure he can mix it with the best. So those are my subjective opinions. Please feel free to agree or disagree. That's the fun of it. Let me know why. Obviously, there's going to be more players we'll see as we build up to the World Cup, and I'm sure these categories will change. People will move around. But at the moment, not enough yeses for England. Too many maybes and too many no's. If they're going to compete at the World Cup, they need to get a lot more in that yes category. Can they do it, or do they simply not have the talent at the moment? Are we a little bit spoilt with England teams of the yesteryear, shall we say? And this is just a bit of a dry patch. Let me know what you think on all of that. It's good fun, and I'll catch you next time.